Okay, alright. Marvel, what the hell are you doing? Okay? What are you doing? No, okay, yeah, no, I'm sorry. Look, no intro, no hi, hey, hello there. I'm pretty pissed off right now with Marvel Comics. Spider-Man is y'all's flagship character, right? Right? I'm just trying to make sure because you don't act like it. So a few months ago, I did a video. I think it was titled "Marvel is ruining Spider-Man." Well, guess what? We got a part 2, people. And I was thinking at first I was gonna kind of make the next video about Mary Jane and how to acting with her or how to writing her. But in the recent like 2 or 3 months, it's like no, I kind of had to continue. And Mary Jane's gonna fold over into this conversation, of course. But I have to continue with this Marvel's treatment of Spider-Man because, dude, have you all seen it? Like, have you all seen what they have done? All right. I'm gonna take it back a couple of months because even though I haven't been covering it on the channel, I have been keeping up with what's been going on in the comic. I was considering going over it after Dark Web, and I'm kind of glad that I kind of just read it without covering it because you all probably hear me cussing like every week the issue comes out. I would have been saying some type of profane. There would have been some type of profane language. Okay, I'm just being honest with you. But I'm just gonna start with like 2-3 months ago. Maybe it's like January when this issue came out, and the big thing was it was this whole issue with Peter and Black Cat, and they had went on this vacation. And Mary Jane was there, and there's all this awkwardness. Anyway, the issue really didn't matter except for what happened or what was said in the closing part of the comic, which is Felicia was trying to get Peter to admit how he felt about Mary Jane, and the writers had the gall, the audacity to say, or to have Peter say that Mary Jane Watson, the woman that Peter Parker was married to for like what 20 years or something like that, give or take. They had the audacity to have Peter Parker say that Mary Jane Watson was like a sister to him. Are you out of your minds? Clearly you are. So Felicia called BS on that, and then he changed his statement to Mary Jane was basically, at this point, like a really good friend to Peter, and it's forced. Okay, this is so forced, and it's so obvious that Marvel's editorial or editors want or are forcing this, right? I keep saying forcing, but that's how you know I'm kind of agitated because I'm repeating words. I'm repeating myself a little bit. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, the Marvel editors have their freaking fingerprints all over this, and a lot of people are jumping on Zeb Wells, right? And yeah, he's the writer, so of course he has some responsibility of it. But at this point, I'm really thinking that the biggest culprit, the person we should blame, is the editors. Or are the editors, I guess, proper English. But that's not all, right? So they decide, okay, they had this whole thing. You all wanted to know what happened to Peter Parker, or what happened with Peter Parker last year. And, we haven't told you, so now we're finally getting to the story. Which, by the way, on the side note, it took y'all a year to get to what we're getting to now. So basically, you threw Peter Parker in this situation, and we have all this speculation as to. Okay, phone went off. So we have all this speculation trying to figure out what's been going on with Peter Parker and how he got to the position that he was in at that point. And they're like, oh, well, you'll find out. A year later. Okay, now we're getting to it. So this is still an ongoing plot at the moment, but we jump back a year. I guess basically last year in the story, and Peter and Mary Jane are attacked by this cult guy with, I guess, somewhat godly powers. I don't know who this guy is. I think he's been in. I want to say he's maybe been in Zeb Wells run before, but I was only in and out of that run until now. But this guy attacks them. He serves again like this deity. I can't remember what his name is right now, but in any case, Peter and Mary Jane get zapped into this other dimension of sorts, and they basically are stuck there. They don't know how to get out, and they're chased by these weird creatures and stuff. They, keep in mind, have also been marked. Like Mary Jane is marked. I can't remember. She's marked for something, and Peter's marked for something. So they basically both have like targets on them. But the guy is after the cultist is after Peter, and he wants to basically kill Spider-Man. So they get there. They're chased by these creatures. They end up getting saved by this guy named Paul. But yeah, you seen Paul. He's the guy that Mary Jane is with. Anyway, so he helps them, and he tells them about he's some type of scientist, and he kind of talks about the guy that's chasing him, or the cult or whatever. It's a bunch of just dialogue, just a lot of talk. They end up developing this device that can be used to get one of them back home. And so Peter's like, okay, well, Mary Jane can give you this device. You go back home and you go to the Fantastic Four and have Reed Richards help you. And then you all bring back some backup. So that's the plan. Then they get attacked again. And the guy is kind of pretty much Peter's trying to hold off the guy. He's really powerful. And then Mary Jane decides to hop in, and she's like, nope, I'm gonna save you. And then she sticks the device on Peter, and he gets zapped away. So we have Peter, who's sent back to New York, and then he looks around, and he's not in New York. He lands somewhere else and makes his way back to New York, only to find out that he's been gone only like maybe a day in New York. Whereas when he was in this other dimension, he was gone for like, I guess a few weeks. But yeah, so basically time works differently there. In any case, Peter is like frantic. He's trying to figure out how to get back to Mary Jane, and he goes to the Fantastic Four. Reed and Sue aren't there, so they can't help him. He leaves, and then there's this whole thing about the crater that he left when he landed, because there's like some type of crater or something, and the government is trying to figure out what it is, and they want him to question Spider-Man, and Peter's like, I don't have time for that, so he leaves. And then Captain America approaches him on the street. And here's one of the issues is bad character writing for Peter Parker, because as opposed to him stopping, taking a breath, and talking to Captain America because he respects Captain America, he punches Captain America in the face and slams the shield in his face and runs off. Now, that, I don't care how quote unquote desperate you want to make him seem, that's not something Peter Parker would do. And again, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because I don't think you understand the character. In fact, I'm almost positive the fans understand the character way more than the people writing it and the people over it at this point. And Cap wasn't trying to fight Peter. He was just trying to talk to him. So we move forward, and Peter finally decides that he has no choice but to go to Norman Osborn. So he goes to Norman Osborn for help. Now, that's where that issue closes. And at that point, I had an idea. I had an idea. I was like, I think I know what they're about to do. If they do this, this is going to piss a lot of people off, including me, because it's manipulative, I guess. It's kind of conniving, and it's a big middle finger to Spider-Man fans. So we get to the most recent issue. Peter sneaks into the Fantastic Four's, or the Baxter Building. I'm sorry, he sneaks into the Baxter Building and steals this machine. They are trying to figure out what's going on. He barely has any words for them. Reed asked him why he didn't ask for it, and Peter's like, "Would you have given it to me?" And Reed's basically like, "Well, it's dangerous." So Peter's, shoots Reed in the face with some web and basically escapes. And we find out when he gets back to Norman that he also stole a device from Stark, and he stole some other device, or had Felicia steal some device from Moon Girl. So basically, Peter Parker is in the time span of like a couple of days, has pissed off like 3 different factions of superheroes. And again, it's like, this isn't Peter Parker. Like, and then not only that, Spider-Man has garnered enough respect from the superhero community for them to help him if he's in need. This isn't like when he first came onto the scene back in the 60s when no one knew who he was and people were kind of going off of the he's a menace thing Jameson was printing. These folks have known Peter Parker for years and years and years now. Or know Spider-Man, one and the same, but some of them know his identity, some of them don't. In any case, they've known him long enough to the point that if he needs help, they're not going to just say, screw you, get out of my face. They're going to be like, okay, what can we do? What can we do to help? Of all people to help him is Norman Osborn, which again is kind of forced because it's like you're trying to... You picked that. That's the one thing you picked from Nick Spencer's run. Okay, Norman Osborn is a good guy. Now we're going to hold on to that. We're going to throw out everything else he did, but we're going to hold on to Norman Osborn being a good guy. That's cool. Okay. Anyway, so Peter gets to this other universe again, and Mary Jane and Paul are being attacked by this zealot. I don't know what I want to call this guy. I called him like a deity before, and then I called him like a cultist. Like, I'm gonna stick with cultist. But yeah, Peter gets there. He ends up saving them from this, or trying to save them from the cultists, and then the cultist kind of stabs himself or something. Paul is bleeding from the chest. Good for him. And Mary Jane is just kind of like, oh, you're back. And Peter is all happy to see her, and then he goes to try to kiss Mary Jane, and Mary Jane backs away, and she's like, oh, you've been gone a long time. And then the damn kids come out, and then Peter's like, who is this? And she's like, her family. Okay, all right, yeah. And I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing out of sheer frustration. Right? Yeah. Because, really? So, last year when we saw these kids of Mary Jane's, I was trying to be on the positive side of things and say that, okay, well, maybe she's just their adoptive mother. But now, we see clearly Peter's been gone to Mary Jane for, who, I guess, what, these kids look like they're 10, 8, so about 10 years. There's so much wrong. There is so much wrong with what they have in this story. I don't even know where to begin. Mary Jane, the character, just the damage to her character. Like, Mary Jane, of all people, and I heard someone say this the other day, and it was so true. Mary Jane, of all people, knows the lengths that Peter Parker will go through to save her. So she knows damn well that Peter was going to find some way to make his way back to her. And yet, they decide to have Mary Jane say, oh, well, I mean, Peter's gone. Yeah. Okay, well, move on, right? Right. With this Paul bastard. I'm sorry, that was mean. Yeah, with this Paul. I'm sorry, no one likes Paul, alright? No one. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna need Carnage to come back and come have a conversation with Paul. That would be great. I would love that storyline. Anyway, Mary Jane is one of the most faithful and... Oh, I'm sorry, when she's written correctly, she's one of the most faithful and... I can't think of the word right now. She believes in Peter Parker, okay? She trusts in him and she knows the lengths that he will go to. So, the fact that Mary Jane just pretty much, I guess, moved on while she was in that other realm or whatever, it doesn't really sit right with me, and I really don't think it sits right with a lot of Spider-Man fans. Now, I know someone can make the argument, well, Peter was gone for so long, and that. No, okay. And that's why I say this is forced. The writer, Zeb Wells, and the editors above him knew what they were doing. This is their way of saying, y'all can't say nothing to us about Mary Jane no more. That's what that is. That they've made this situation with Mary Jane as permanent as they possibly can. Insofar as the only way that Peter actually gets him Mary Jane again in this context, because I know of a way that you can do it, But the only way that they can have Peter Parker with Mary Jane again is if, like, again, Carnage has that conversation with Paul and Peter, pops up again or something. I don't know. But even then, there's the kids situation. Now, that again is just Marvel's way of saying, y'all can't bother us no more about this. We're tired of the fans asking for Mary Jane. So guess what? This is our way of saying, F y'all. You cannot say a word now. We have done this. It's pretty much solidified. This is as permanent as we can make it. So, we got the last laugh. Right. Alright. And you can hear, I hope you can hear the frustration. And you don't have to hear the frustration in my voice per se, because if you're here, you're a Spider-Man fan. And if you're a Spider-Man fan, you're just as frustrated as I am. Now, on the social media aspect, the fans are furious. I mean, you can look on YouTube, you find videos, just like you found my video, and it's just I guess rage, right? I mean, people are mad. They're cussing out Marvel, cussing out the writer. Some people are probably sending threats, which is not the right thing to do, but I'm just saying that's how people react. Now, again, someone save Spider-Man. Nick Spencer tried to save Spider-Man, and I respect that guy for that. That guy went in there. He went against the grain of what the editors was doing at that point. He fixed Brand New Day for the most part, and fixed Sin's Past, and was putting Peter on the pathway to get married to Mary Jane again. And in the course of a year and a half, maybe, they just ripped all that, and ripped it real good too. Like they threw that story, they threw that plot line in the shredder, and laughed at the Spider-Man fans while they were doing it. Okay, so I don't understand, because I've seen these ideas, and these people say that Peter Parker is not relatable if he's not I guess like fresh out of college, and B, struggling to make ends meet, and then, well, I guess, and C, having the girl problems and whatever. I discussed why that was BS in the other video I made about someone saying Spider-Man, but they I don't know if it's just that at this point, because it seems like this is almost a vendetta, or it's like there's some petty thing that Marvel is doing to, I guess, to get at the Spider-Man fans who have been Spider-Man fans for years and years and years. Why you would want to piss them off and, laugh in their face, I don't know. It's beyond me, because they're the ones giving you money. But hey, if you want to have a drop in your sales, then go right ahead. So the only thing I can think of to fix this particular thing, really, ironically, and this is very ironic, I gotta say, but you would have to literally do another Brand New Day. That's the only way you can fix this. There would have to be another Brand New Day, and I don't know how it will work. Peter, if you write him correctly, supposedly would never make another deal with Mephisto, right? So I don't know how you go about that. And speaking of Mephisto, when Nick Spencer's run went off, there was a whole scene with Spider-Girl, actually, like the actual Spider-Girl, who was May Parker, who was Peter and Mary Jane's daughter in the future. Now, how they're gonna, I guess that just got thrown in the shredder. They don't care about that, which is probably what happened. That was a very exciting storyline that I was, really eager to see how they were gonna take that, but whatever. But anyway, again, maybe another Brand New Day is how you fix that. Now, I don't know how you would go about it per se. Maybe Mary Jane is the one who makes the deal with Mephisto, but she should have more sense than that too, right? So I don't know. Maybe Paul, dumbass, makes the deal. You're gonna continue to hear me insult Paul, okay? That's not gonna stop. I don't care if we don't know much about his character, or if he hadn't done anything particularly annoying. Okay, we don't care about Paul around here, alright? Get that bastard out of here. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. And then here's the other thing. So I tried to think about it from another perspective, and I'm like, okay, they've got Felicia here. They're pushing Peter and Felicia. So if I'm there and I'm writing it, and I'm dealing with an idiot editor who is trying their best to keep Mary Jane away from Peter Parker, at this point, if I'm putting Felicia here, then how about you make the storyline about Peter and Felicia's relationship actually sticking and not having all these issues. So basically, an actual solid relationship with Peter Parker and Felicia Hardy. Now, some of the Spider-Man fans have gotten on board with that. And at this point, if you look at Peter's love interest, Felicia is right there behind Mary Jane in terms of love interest who's been there for him, who's had his back through thick and thin, and really know him. So Felicia would be definitely the next best choice for that. And it seems like they have, at the very least, matured her character some. So at this point, I would go and make a storyline about Peter getting married to Felicia and having a family with Felicia and seeing what that looks like, because we do know what Peter being married to Mary Jane and having a child with Mary Jane looks like. But what does it look like? I think there was a what if Peter married Black Cat way back when, but I'm talking about like the actual ongoing story. What does that look like? What is Felicia like as a mother? What is Felicia like as the wife of Spider-Man? Because it's a different thing, right? She's got her own abilities. She can take care of herself. So it would make for an interesting story, definitely. But it's one of those things where, do y'all have the common sense to actually do it? Because you've already pissed off all the Spider-Man fans. The only way you can maybe get some of them to stick around and stay on board is this idea of Peter and Felicia actually being serious and moving forward, and y'all not messing that up. But again, I don't exactly have the confidence in Marvel, in the writers or the editors, to be able to come up with an actual good idea like that. So yeah, and that's really kind of where the comic is right now. I'll do another video talking about the rest of the stupidity that they've written in this story, because at this point I think we all just should probably at least pay attention to what's going on to see what they're doing to our favorite character. It's frustrating, right? And that's why I had to go on this, make another rant about Spider-Man, because it's like Marvel is going out of their way to piss all the Spider-Man fans off. And they do it in this effort, I guess, to pick up new Spider-Man fans. But what you don't realize is that the new Spider-Man fans were introduced to Spider-Man by old Spider-Man stuff, whether it be the cartoons, whether it be the video games, whether it be the movies. But guess what? All those things, Mary Jane was the big focus with Peter Parker. So, except for Amazing Spider-Man, that's a different story though. But yeah, like all those things had a focus on Mary Jane. So I mean, even the new fans are aware of who Mary Jane Watson is and how important she is to Peter Parker's story. And again, this video was more of a rant talking about, I think, the Mary Jane thing than anything else. But keep in mind, let's not forget, they have done some major damage to Peter Parker's character as well. Attacking Captain America, stealing from the Fantastic Four when they actually weren't even trying to fight him, except for, I guess, Johnny and Ben, who did attack him. And then stealing from Stark and stealing from Moon Girl and all that stuff. Is like, this is something that like a Peter Parker, maybe an inexperienced Peter Parker who was desperate would do. But we're talking about the same guy who has been through a lot. He's been a member of the Fantastic Four in the Future Foundation. He's been an Avenger, and a new Avenger. I guess he's been both technically. And I don't know what his connections are to Moon Girl too much, but you get my point. He has, like, Peter Parker has relationships with these characters. And here we are, we have him attacking folks, stealing from folks, and just pretty much putting a target on his back in the superhero community. All to save Mary Jane Watson, which, by the way, again, these folks, particularly Tony Stark, will be all for helping Mary Jane Watson. Right? Okay. Look, I've rambled on for almost 30 minutes now. And I just wanted to get the point across that, look, guys, I don't know. We can throw these videos out all the live long day and yell at Marvel and yell at the editors and yell at Zeb Wells to write this character correctly, to do right by this character because he deserves it. But honestly, it's as Marvel has proven for the past couple of years, probably past 10 years actually. Marvel doesn't care about what we're trying to tell them. We're the people giving them money, but they don't care about what our opinions are. They don't care what we're trying to tell them to help them with their own character that they have control of. No, they would rather slap us in the face and laugh and throw together these stories that make no sense. They would rather mess up characters. They would rather mess them up and have them behave like this or like they're behaving in the comics just so they can get their ha-has than to just write the character had been written for the past 30 years or so. At this point, I don't know. I mean, we would kind of have to. We would have to speak with our money, right? We would have to speak with our wallets. If Marvel stops getting the sales that they get for Spider-Man and everything, they're gonna make a change. They're gonna have to, because these sales numbers start going down, and then you sit there and like, oh, wait. So maybe it wasn't a good idea to antagonize the people who have been reading this character for the past 30 years. Go figure. Anyway, that's what I had to say about this right now. Y'all will hear more about this terrible comic run when the next few issues come out. I'm not gonna cover it every issue. I'll probably do like every 2, and just to let y'all know what stupid thing they've written next. But look, drop a comment please and let me know, because I am genuinely curious about what other Spider-Man fans are thinking right now. Hit that like button if you like what you saw, and remember, we have the high ground. Catch you later.